Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Sheila from Sweetie's Creations and Decor, and let's do a fun project today with I Can Dupe It for Much Less. I'm in a collaboration with Farmhouse Stencils by Lori and Make All the Things With Me with Leah, and we're doing a collaboration, and you will see the whole playlist. All you have to do is just follow each person, look at what they're doing, and they're going to show you some great dupes. So I love boxes and old drawers, but I look at them online and I say, oh my goodness, they're so high priced and I can do that for less. I also see them in the stores and I think, oh, I can do that for less. So I look for boxes at the thrift store and at junk stores and in my neighborhood. So I found this one on the side of the road in my neighborhood. And it was, I think it was some kind of cabinet. It could have been a kitchen cabinet. It was kind of just thrown out there and some of the pieces were broken. And I grabbed a few of the drawers and one of them was really big. And I used that outside in the garden. And I might do something else with that later and tell you about it. So we are starting with this box. It's just a little drawer. You can use a box. You can use a drawer. So I will kind of turn you down a little bit so that you can see really well. And I want to show you where I got my inspiration. So I've seen some of these boxes in the store, but I went out looking and I couldn't find what I wanted to take a picture of. So I got some off of Etsy. And they're anywhere from, this one starts at $51 up to $143. So they're different sizes, different ways. And I love they put the molds on there and painted them and did different things with them. And so this was my inspiration from Pinterest. So that's what I used for my inspiration. And we'll just put that out of our way. And now let's get started. So I want to tell you what I've done so far. I went ahead, this was kind of a yellowy color and I didn't know what kind of paint they used. And I tried to sand some of it off, but it had a lot of coats. So my next thing is I just get the undercover primer by Paint Pixie and I put my undercover primer on the whole thing. And that way you can just paint straight over it. So now we're using chalk paint and I am using the cream puff, which is one of my favorites. It's a kind of between a white and a cream, and I love that color. It might look white to you, but it is kind of it does have kind of a creamy look. So I've kind of already painted most of this, and I went ahead and put my primer on, and you can see a little bit of that yellow paint right there. Would have been fine if you wanted to leave it that way, but I didn't like the color. So let's get a little bit more of this on and finish painting this up. I didn't lack much. I wanted to leave a little bit so I could show y'all. I am using a Paint Pixie brush, and as you can tell, I use it quite a bit. This one is the Frenchie, one of my favorites. So we'll go ahead and get this finished. And this is the bottom, so it doesn't really matter, but I like my bottom to look nice as well. Let's get that dried up. So I think we got that all done. And now this is the front. And I will be putting something there. And I went ahead and left that piece. I'm okay with that. You could fill it in if it bothered you. You could just go ahead and fill this in with just some wood filler or one of the plasters and just put that in and you can cover that up. We're going to be using this side to decorate on. So we're going to turn it over here because I like my drawer to be able to have I like my knob on this side as you look at it. From left to right, I like it that way. So I'm going to do mine that way, that you can see. So now I've got my little pieces. Now you can paint these ahead of time, or you could put them on your box and go ahead and paint them as you're painting your box if you're using the same color. So I got this beautiful mold. This is pixie dough that I use to make these, and it's the flexible pixie dough, so I love that. And this was a redesign by Prima mold. And I believe I got this one on Amazon, redesigned by Prima. It's a beautiful little mold, and I thought that would be beautiful on the sides and kind of mimicked what we had on the boxes, the other. Let's go ahead and get these painted up. I'm going to go ahead and get these painted up, and I'm going to go ahead and use that same cream puff, but I am adding to that some white sand metallic. It's kind of got a little shimmer, and I thought that would make it kind of stand out. So please subscribe to my channel if you have not. I would love for you to. I am fairly new to doing videos on YouTube, but I have been around a while and had my YouTube for a while, just starting to do more things on there. And go live some, and I'm going to be paying more attention to getting some more things up on YouTube. And so I think those are pretty dry. Now let's take our box. Now I'm going to try to put the camera where you can see what I do right here. You should be able to see that. We're going to make sure that we put this in the very middle. So let's see what the size is. Let's go ahead and measure it. And when I'm not worrying about the middle of the end of the drawer. I'm just going to do to here, and that is 18. So we want to put it right here at this 9. And so we're going to put the middle right there. That's going to be, listen, if it's not perfect, it's okay. It's okay. But we should put right here. So I'm going to get my glue. And I love the quick and thick because it dries pretty quick. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this one like this so I can make sure that I have it in that same place. You can measure, put your little pencil mark. Okay. So I'm going to get that done. Try to keep it where we're going to put it. And I'm going to put just a tad of, because it kind of blends in, but we are going to be using some wax, and that's going to help. And I might go ahead and distress this a little bit as well. So I'm going to put that right there. Let me kind of eye it, because it didn't look straight, and it wasn't. Okay, we have to kind of look at it a little bit, just like that. Okay, let me take just a tad of my hot glue, and let's put just a little bit here and there on our ends to kind of give that a hold right now till the glue can set up. It dries quickly, but it just does take a little bit of preparation with your glues. Right there. There we go. That looks sweet. Let me get these other sides on and I'll show you those as well. So I got a little crooked, so I've still got time to move it just a little bit. If I pull that hot glue, I can kind of, there we go. That's a little better. Let's put a little hot glue there. One good thing about the little daub of hot glue is that you can pull it back off and move it. And with that tight bond, it takes it a minute to dry. So it gives you time to move your piece around if it's not completely straight. And these mold so you can kind of pull them like you want. I think that looks good. That's looking good. All right, let's put our other little pieces right in here. So let's put these here and see how we like them. You also could do them like this. I kind of like them this way. Then I just rub it in on the back with my fingers. This tight bond holds really well, especially on molds. And I'm going to turn this toward me just a little bit, and then I'll turn it back. That way I can kind of see where I want that. And I'm just going to press that one down like that. And let's see about how much we've got there. About a little over 1/2 inch. A little over 1/2 inch, about right there. Okay. So let's do this one. Let's get our glue again. These are pretty simple. Pretty simple. And you don't have to put a ton of glue. It holds pretty easily. All right. Put that on. Okay, and let's look back about 1/2 inch. You kind of can eye it a little bit. And let's make sure that looks like it's about even. And press that one down. Get those glue ookies off. And look how pretty that is. Isn't that beautiful? That is looking pretty. I like that. So let's let those sit a minute. We may have to put a little extra glue. Sometimes you do. And we're going to go ahead. We'll let those kind of dry. Now let's go ahead and put our little knob here on the front, and I hope that I've got that hole where this will go in. It has a little screw on the back. Now I will have my husband cut this off, and this is a little rose, and this came from Hobby Lobby. You can find these when they mark them down on sale. Now what I like to do is I like my washer to go behind it, so you can leave it on when you put it on the front, but it kind of shows, so I like it on the to put it on the back to give it an extra hold. We're going to put that in. Right here. It should just go right in. Now you can also use the white knobs if you didn't want to put the glass look on there. Totally up to you. Then just put your little washer back on. It just screws back on. And that little washer that I put on there is going to help that hold it to where you have something really pretty. Isn't that beautiful? So I love that. So we've got that part of our box done. We are going to decorate it, but we're going to go ahead and do our other work on it. So I'm going to let those dry, and I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of distressing. So I like mine to look chippy, and so I'm going to use the method that I love the most, and y'all have seen me do this if you've watched any of my videos or watched me on Facebook. I love to use this. So I'm using the glazed donut. I like that little bit of a look, but I'm going to lighten it just a little bit with a little bit of the cream puff. And I'm going to see if I like that. I don't want it real dark. I want it just to have a little highlight. And I think that'll lighten it just enough to where I really, really love the color. So it did lighten it a little bit. It's not as cream. It's kind of a beigey cream. I kind of like that. So let me get that all mixed up. And now we've got a little bit of a lighter color. And I am using these little spatulas. You're going to press it in your paint. It's on just like that. But you want to pat a little bit off, because you don't want it heavy, heavy. And we're going to take and just do our sides here. It's very faint, but I'll hold it up to the camera where you can see. Then you can add a little bit more. You don't, less is more, so start out with a little bit, then add to it. So I'm just going to put a little bit on my sides here, just a little bit. And I won't do the whole thing because it will take a little bit to do, but I will show you the final results. And see how I drug it back across that as well. So here we go. Let me hold that up just a little bit where you can see it. You're just going to take it, put it on your sides just like this, just a little bit, and then you're going to take your tool and you're just going to drag it. Whatever excess is on your tool, that's what you're going to drag across. When you get finished, it looks like the chippy method that you would use with your paint and your candle wax, and then drag it off. This is so much simpler to do it this way. And then you're going to do the same thing all the way around. So I'm going to show you on the side as well. Let's go ahead so I don't mess with my molds. And let me just show you this right here. I'm going to move this where you can kind of see it. And I'm going to do that again. Now you want to take a little bit off. So we're just going to go, we're going to do our sides. We're also going to do the edge here on our drawer. And we can do this edge here. I hope that you can see that well. I believe you can. So I'm going to get a little bit more, but not too much on my palette knife. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a little bit more here. Now, we can put a little bit here, and then you can just drag it. See how I'm just using what I had in there? You don't want a whole lot of paint because it's going to make it you're going to have your spots a little bit too big. So you want to take it and use the majority of it first on your highlight here. Just on your box where you want to highlight it. Here on the edges You don't have to do it all the way across, just do it however you like, and then take your remaining and you're just going to drag it just like that. And you're going to do the whole box that way. Do the same thing on this edge of your box. Just a little highlight. And I will go into this edge a little bit and see how I did that edging. Just rubbing it with what's on your palette knife. So if you can get the little plastic palette knives, you can use the metal ones. These come from Paint Pixie. I do love these because they work really well, and I like the metal. You also can get some off the other side, but I use mostly the bottom. They have them in different sizes. You can also get a little one. And I'm going to use that paint, and I'm going to go around the entire box and just decorate it up just a little bit so it looks a little bit more shabby chic for me. You don't have to do this part. You definitely can do you. I don't use as much. And the reason I use a little board in here is because sometimes you want to put some other little things in here and it gives it some extra room. So I'm using a little bit of this and a little bit of our greenery. And I think I just knocked the greenery. Let's see, here it is. I'm going to put some of this moss. This is just some reindeer moss. You can also use some Spanish moss. So I'm going to do that. Now, if I decide to put flowers in, I'm going to use this. So I decided today, I think I will put some flowers. Let's see, I may have to cut, oh, it might work. So I just want to show you can do it without the flowers. Now I'm just going to move that to the side. And I'm just going to put a piece of styrofoam in here. And I'm just going to put just a little bit of hot glue for right now. But it's not something that has to be permanent. You can pull this back out. You can use it to put birds on, anything you want. I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue to hold it right now. But you definitely don't have to do this part if you just want to use your shelf to put things on. But this will give us a little bit for our flowers. Okay. And you can put this back around. I like to put the flowers and kind of move this back around. But that's all I've done is just stuff my box. Now let's put a few florals and some greenery in here. So I am using today, I'm going to use some roses. I got these from Walmart. So let me turn you down a little bit more. That way you can kind of see a little bit closer. There we go. And these came from Walmart, and y'all, they were not really expensive. This doesn't have a price. They were called mini cabbage roses, and we're just going to use those. And I like to take mine apart, but you can leave some intact. But I'm going to cut this one here, and I'm probably not going to cut it. I'm going to make it a little bit, and kind of bend when you're doing your flowers. Kind of bend them around a little bit. From Walmart as well, and they're zinnias. So I'm going to put a couple of zinnias on here, and then I might use a little bit of the stems. So let's put a couple of these in here. I love these with the roses. They are really pretty with it. It is the same color family. So push your leaves up underneath, and they will not look as inexpensive as they are. I'll kind of work with this a little bit more, and I'll post a picture. But that's something you do. Let's turn our box back around. So here's the front. You could also stick a little bird in there if you want to. You can stick your little bird. This is a little metal bird. A little bird in there to make it kind of peek out, and then you've got your arrangement. These feet, I am using these here. These are those little snowmen that you get at Christmas time, but I believe you can order these on Amazon at any time. I've seen them still on Amazon, even though, because people are using them. So I was going to buy some really, really nice legs, and I thought, oh, I've got those snowmen, and they will be fine with this. So let me turn this. I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to use these for the feet. So I'm going to go ahead and take some more of my Tite Bond glue in there as well. And you're just going to stick that to the inside. And then we're going to put all four on. And that is going to look really, really cute. Look how cute that looks. That looks like a high-end leg. Now let's put a little bit of brown wax on here. So I like to first put on some white or cream wax so that your wax is not so, when you put your brown wax on there, it's not going to be so harsh. I'm going to put our glue tool back over here. Okay, and now let's find my little brush I got out. Here it is. And I'm just taking a little bit of my brown wax on my tool. And I'm just going to put a little bit right in here. Now, the one good thing about putting that other wax on is you just kind of can use your finger to kind of tone that down a little bit. See how that's toned down? Then you can take a little bit in here and just lightly put it on. The wax, I will finish filling in the florals and finish my wax and my feet, and I will post a picture.